Brighton, Ontario. Where is it? Well, you've probably looked along the 401, you've heard of Belleville. Well, if you're looking for more of a small town feel, then Brighton might be a place you want to consider. Hi, my name is Jeremy Tremblay. I'm a local realtor in the Belleville and surrounding areas. If you're looking to learn more about this area, you're thinking about moving here or thinking about just finding a new place to live, then hopefully I can help you out in that journey. Make sure to subscribe to this for more future videos. And if you get any value out of this, I'd really appreciate if you could hit that like button down below. Let's get to it. So as I bring Brighton up on the map here, you can first of all see that it is very much stretches north. Now, I will say right away that the majority of the population is centered south of Highway 401, which is right here. And you also have Highway 2, which kind of divides the town itself. This is a retirement community. A large portion of the population is retirees, which is why they're more densely populated around the lakefront. Of course, there are more rural living that's available. But a lot of the people that are going to be living in Brighton are either going to be retired or they're going to be working elsewhere. And that's where you just have to know where it is in relation to everything else. So first off, many people that want to get out of the GTA and move towards Belleville, which is a town of around 60,000, but kind of want a smaller town, and they still want to be that little bit closer towards Toronto. That's where Brighton comes into play. And so Brighton to Belleville, which has really all the shopping that you need, is about 25 minutes. You go here, 401 to Belleville in 25 minutes. You still have most of the options, and you'll see a lot of people that shop in Quinte West, Trenton area. To get from Brighton along Highway 2 to the Walmart takes about 12 minutes. So it's really quite quick. And then if you are not a retiree in this town, like I said, you're working in those two towns, or you're working towards Toronto or the Greater Toronto area. And many people, if they have to go to the office once or twice a week, will take Highway 401 to Oshawa, where the GO train is, which can take them into Toronto. It takes 1 hour door to door from Brighton to Oshawa GO. And if you are wanting to get right to Toronto, you can drive along Highway 401. Takes about 1 hour and 45 minutes to get downtown Toronto. And so that's the options. And that's really why Brighton is where it is. It has, it's a very picturesque town. Like I said, a lot of retirees. And so we'll go into a little bit more now on the details of why people live here. So the first thing we'll talk about with Brighton is the housing, and specifically the price ranges that you're going to be able to get within Brighton. So if you're watching this, you've probably looked into Belleville, maybe Trenton, and you're wondering about Brighton in relation to those. So price-wise, I'd say they're fairly similar to Belleville. Maybe a little bit more expensive. And the big difference between the two, of course, is proximity to Toronto. So as we mentioned, Brighton, you can drive to Oshawa in 1 hour, and Toronto's that little bit closer as well. Now, it doesn't have as many amenities as Belleville. So Belleville has all the big box stores. It's got the Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, everything there. And so you're a little bit further away from Toronto in Belleville, but you have all the amenities. Brighton, you're a little bit closer to Toronto, but you don't have as many amenities, which is what kind of keeps the prices up in Brighton specifically. I mentioned it's a retirement focused area, and so they've have a range of homes available. A majority of them are towards the lake, like I said, and they have the entry-level homes, single-family homes would probably be in that $450,000 to $550,000 range. Now, of course, you have to look into the lot sizes, the finishes. They're going to vary quite a bit with that. And from there, you move to the $550,000 to the $650,000 range. You can get slightly nicer single-family homes. And then that's when you get into the more new build townhomes as well. So if you're looking for the kind of modern conveniences of a home, a newer build, that's where you could get into that with the townhomes. And then above 650, really towards 7 is where you're going to be if you want to get into the newer build. And when I say newer, like the last 10 years, single family homes. And it kind of goes up from there. So around the 700 where you can get into them, but you'll get into the 800,000 in those neighborhoods as well. Now, speaking of those neighborhoods with the new builds, they've done a fantastic job in the way that they've developed them and built them into the city, because they're not very busy. And so they've kind of finished off each community, and there's a lot of tourism that can come through Brighton as you're going towards Presqu'île Provincial Park, but the neighborhoods have kind of been built off separate from those, which is really nice. And yeah, very clean. The town itself, they've done a great job. It's very clean. The overall size of Brighton is around 13,000 people. And so it's not going to be very busy at any given time. It gets a little bit more active in the summertime. But yeah, if this is the type of area that seems appealing to you and you kind of want that proximity to Toronto, well, then you're going to be amongst like-minded people within Brighton. And next, we'll look at what does this town have to offer. So now we'll look at the city itself, the feel of the town. As I mentioned, 13,000 people, so it's not huge. It's going to have a very small town feel. It's very picturesque. It's got a nice downtown core, very walkable. A lot of the small town stores that you'd expect with the pharmacies and the grocery stores and the hardware stores. And then they also have a really nice park that's right downtown. They actually host events during the summer there where they have a little band shell where they run music. So it really kind of encompasses that small community feel. And then from there, there's also a high school, public high school and elementary school directly within the city limits. And so it kind of has everything that you would be thinking of with a small town, but also remembering that it doesn't have a hospital. It doesn't have a Walmart, those things that you'd get in a city slightly larger like Trenton. But many of the people, if you talk to people within Brighton, they go towards Trenton daily. And being 10 to 15 minutes on Highway 2, which is not very busy, it's a very easy commute. So very much a small community feel. So what do you do in Brighton? The town itself really lends itself to an active lifestyle, whether it be for retirees or for those with the young children, young families. I mentioned the elementary school, the public school within town. Directly across the street is King Edward Park and Arena. And so as you look across there, it has tennis courts right along the road, really nice tennis courts that are they're quite actively used. And then you've got the soccer fields, a number of the fields that have leagues for all ages. And then you have baseball fields, multiple fields as well. They've built new pickleball courts, and they did a great job on those, really nice courts, and they're being used as well. And right in the middle, there's the children's area. So you've got the play sets. It's got a covered area so you can kind of meet and have meals there, and also a splash pad. And so that's a great park. That's my family. We're in Trenton. We tend to go there quite often. And then next to that, of course, there is a skateboard area. They built a really great skateboard park. And then that parking lot for this whole area is shared with the arena. And so, as I mentioned, it really is a hub for the whole community, and there's enough space and enough parking that really you can go there at any time, and there are many options as to what you can do. And another thing that people enjoy, not just from Brighton, really from all over the area, is Brighton Speedway. And this is an attraction. It is a dirt track, and they have events that are running all throughout the summer, and it's quite fun. You bring your family out there. They even offer season passes. That's how often people will go. Of course, they have standard racing with cars and such, but they have a lot of fun events. I've seen they have school bus racing where they'll modify school buses and race those, monster trucks, minivan races. They have a lot going on, and they put on a very good show. So that's an option that you can take advantage of all summer long. And then if you're wanting to really get into hiking more often, I mentioned the downtown, and it's got a nice walkable street downtown. But if you head 5 minutes north of that, really a 5-minute walk, you will get to Proctor Park. And those trails, they're very well groomed, and we use them all the time. Myself, my family, there's a smaller loop, and then there's even larger loop. And it really, you feel like you're within the small town, and then you're right into nature. You can walk down those, well looked after. It's a great option that many people utilize. And then the other option is Presqu'île Provincial Park. And I mentioned that the way the town is structured and the way it's kind of more densely populated towards the water, and this is really the reason. And so looking at Presqu'île Provincial Park, there's really two sides. So you have the beach side, and it's a wonderful beach. It's very long, very sandy. Even when it's busy, it's really not too bad. There's still a lot of parking. There's still so much beach area that it never truly gets crazy busy. And the other reason for that is that a lot of people that are coming from Toronto, they've actually gotten Prince Edward County with the Sandbanks and North Beach. They've become more popular and they get busier. Whereas Presqu'île Provincial Park is not quite as busy. And so, like I mentioned, my family, we will come from Trenton and go to Presqu'île more often than not. And then the other option is the marsh. So that's the other side of Provincial Park. And the marsh area has boardwalks that you can walk, very well maintained. If you're into wildlife, bird watching and such, it's a beautiful area. And you can take advantage of that. And I mentioned that it's very close. So these areas, you can get to them within 5 minutes. You're driving from your home and you're taking advantage of the beaches and the hiking and all the events really close. And then if you're into boating and fishing, you're right on the water. It's a very simple area that you can go down there. You can drop your boat in the water and just have a day out in the bay. And so you get everything. You get the small town. As I mentioned, they don't have quite as many amenities, but these, what I just mentioned here and what they do offer is quite a draw. And in terms of retirement or small families, people really love Brighton when they come to see it. As long as they're fine with that extra commute, whether it be for work or for the other amenities, it has a lot to offer. So that's Brighton in a nutshell. If you're looking to relocate and you want a nice, well put together small town, then Brighton is definitely somewhere you're going to want to check out. If you have any further questions about this or you want to know about the real estate in the area, definitely reach out. My name's Jeremy Tremblay. And for future videos or any other towns that I've already looked at, be sure to subscribe. And also, if you've gotten any value out of this, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. Till next time.